Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week with Hipther Talks, and we are sticking to the blockchain again. And particularly, we're speaking today with Jeremy, co-founder at Aizel Network. Jeremy, it's nice to have you here.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for the invite. Really glad to be here and love to share more about Aizel and what we're building up with Peak. And we do believe that we're making some really fundamental values to the space in terms of verifiable AI. So really glad that we have the conversation here. And yeah, let's keep going.
All right. I think my audience can now hear me that I just brought my microphone a bit closer. Jeremy, as usual at Hipther Talks, we like to have our guests say a few words about themselves. So best way to do it is you just making that personal touch and sharing a few words about how you got started and where you're at right now.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm Jeremy. I'm one of the co-founders in Aizel Network, and I previously joined into crypto at around like 2019 time. So I joined in crypto in a former like venture capital experiences, and also coming from a dual background from business and CS, computer science. The journey of Aizel is actually pretty amazing. So at the end of like 2022, I actually joined we had a pretty intense internal discussion with a few other co-founders of projects, basically regarding how we can actually incorporate AI abilities for on-chain usage for smart contract or blockchains. And the reason why that we had that kind of conversation is because at that time, at the end of 2022, it was exactly the time that those really large models, for example, Stable Diffusion, ChatGPT came into the space and just blew everybody's mind. So at that time, we're coming from a hybrid of AI and also blockchain background. So it's just very natural for us to think about how do we actually bridge AI abilities for on-chain usage, right? Because I think the biggest problem that we have seen so far, including right now, is that, Web3 lacks intelligence, right? There is not much intelligence on-chain, and, smart contract, they're never smart. Blockchain users, they can do very few things on top of blockchain, and usually their behaviors are somehow, clumsy and stupid. So especially with AI development at that time has started for so many years, it's just fairly, intuitive for us to keep thinking about how do we bridge AI abilities for on-chain usage. But apparently, the biggest technical bottleneck in this process is that crypto and AI, they're like two ultimately fundamentally different technologies, right? I mean, AI is centralized. It's black box. You have no idea what is going on within the AI. You have no idea whether the output that AI gives you is, with integrity, is verifiable. So it's entirely a black box. And blockchain is entirely on the opposite side. So it's verifiable, it's transparent, it's decentralized, and all that. So I think at that time, the biggest technical bottleneck that we had seen is that when you try to bridge AI for on-chain usage, actually the biggest the first step you have to take is to somehow make AI verifiable and trustless, right? So that it can be consistent or maybe cohesive to the blockchain environment. So at that time, this is how we had this idea about coming up with the project and see is there any possibility that we can do like a holistic infrastructure that can let AI to be seamlessly running on top of blockchains with complete verifiability and also integrity. So that was the time that we joined together and maybe explored around the technologies. And after like a year or so, this is where we're standing right now. So we're in Aizel, we're basically working on the fastest and the most scalable modular network dedicated towards verifiable AI code processing. So we try to let AI to be fully executed and inferenced directly on chain in the fastest and most scalable way. And the reason why that we keep emphasizing on this thing is because right now the biggest technical bottleneck for trustless AI or verifiable AI is the overhead, right? So AI is a much complex, computation thing compared to like normal blockchain transactions. So you have to find out a proper way that can generate the results from AI in a totally verifiable way with acceptable cost and also fairly fast speed for the users. So this is what we're building up. And right now, we're still kind of in stealth mode right now, basically building our, first version of the testnet by including as many, party as possible with our design partner. For example, apparently, Peak is also in the list there. So we try to make that happen within like the next 2 to 3 months, where people can actually get a touch on what Aizel is building up. So yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah.
All right, so this is the inspiration behind how you guys founded Aizel Network, and I also want to know, maybe you could share with us the vision of the company.
Definitely. So I think the vision that the thing that we're envisioning is that, first of all, we're even though we're building out like the infrastructure, project, and we are doing a lot of the tech, experimenting, benchmarking, developing in the backend, but somehow we still don't see us as a tech company, or maybe because the solution that we try to provide to the end users is direct and seamless. So what we're doing here is that we try to abstract away all the technical jargons, all the terminologies that we're building up, MPC, TEE, distributed layer, DAG, Merkle DAG, DHT, and all that kind of stuff. We try to abstract away from the users, so users don't have to care about what we're actually building up in the backend. But users and smart contracts, any business-facing or maybe customer-facing scenario that require AI to be verifiable, they can directly access to our seamless experience provided to them with the fastest and also the most scalable verifiable inference abilities. So what we're providing here is that we try to abstract away all the things that we're building up in the backend, and we simplify the the results and also the way that people can interact in the most acceptable and also the most comfortable way. So this is our vision. Our vision is to package the most complex and most scalable technology for verifiable AI to the end users, where users don't have to care about what is actually going on in the backend, and we just directly deliver their results to them by innovating on the network economy that we build upon Aizel. And in the more further way, what we're doing up here is try to penetrate any single corner in both Web 2 and Web 3 that somehow require AI to running trustlessly or verifiably can get to use what Aizel is building up here. So we're trying to penetrate into every single possible corner and become the entrance of all the verifiable AI use cases. So this is what we're building up. And I think even in a more longer version of the vision, we're trying to eliminate the technical differences between crypto and AI. And this is like apparently the ultimate goal, because as we probably know that right now this world is facing two separate ways of developing in technologies.
Yeah.
I think AI is one of them. Blockchain is apparently the other one of them. So we cannot just keep letting these two technologies to diverge as much as they can, but we're trying to converge them into one cohesive and also comprehensive way that these two technologies can somehow benefit with each other. So what we're doing up is to eliminate the barrier fundamentally between AI and blockchain and make sure that AI can co-process, can run like with full consistency with blockchain by having it verifiable and trustless. So I think this is the role that we're playing out, and apparently this is like going to be a later stage, and it's going to be a long-term goal. But right now we're building the most fundamental element, Lego, that can foster this change in the future. Yes.
All right. So what specific challenges or pain points in the AI industry led to the development of Aizel Network?
Definitely. So I think as I mentioned before, so the biggest bottleneck, if you think about using AI in blockchain, for example, letting smart contracts to run AI models, for example, letting AI to assist users or to assist smart contract, or even more like generally speaking, there are a lot of AI agents that is running on chain right now, right? They're doing pricing data. They were doing transactions. They were doing pricing data analysis, predicting price, or maybe just manipulating users' wallets, or maybe just running nodes for blockchain. There are a lot of scenarios for AI agents on chain. And the biggest bottleneck is apparently all the models. All the AI applications running on chain right now, they're all using off-chain blindly trusted AI. So the AI that they're using, all like black box. Like you have no idea what is really going on in the AI itself, and you have to you as a user, or maybe as a as a smart contract, the only thing that you can do is to like fully trust that you hope that AI in the backend is not going to go malicious. For example, how do you actually know that the results that this AI agent gives to you is indeed given from this specific model that you request for? right? And how to ensure that there's nothing malicious, there's nothing has been tempered in the AI, inference process. You have no idea of that. You can pretty much think of this as a more severe version of Oracle problem, right? So before this AI, that kind of stuff, maybe like 45 years ago, the biggest problem at that time for the entire industry is, Oracle problem, which is
Yeah.
how do you actually let this blockchain, entirely isolated decentralized environment to get access to off-chain data. And at that time, you can simply get the data from like central exchange by having the API directly feed to on-chain smart contract. You can totally do that. But the problem about this solution is that you have no idea whether this data coming to on-chain environment is with integrity, is verifiable, right? So this is like why Chainlinks, other, Oracle projects came into the space and become one of the largest infrastructure in the space. So right now, in the era of AI, because AI is actually a much more fierce monster, right, compared to like pricing data
Exactly.
off-chain. So in a safe way and also verifiable way of using AI on-chain, or maybe integrating AI for on-chain environment, on-chain smart contract is like essential. So when you think about the crypto and AI, like using that is the application part, but in the back end, the first thing you have to build up in the infrastructure layer, perspective, is that you have to eliminate this, difference between these two technologies. So this is like what we're building up, and this is also why there, not only us, but apparently there's also some projects, working on different technical directions that are also trying to provide AI with verifiability and also trustlessness. So I think this is like the biggest pain point that we have seen in the space. And when this is done, when this, infrastructure is done in the later part, we can foster much more mind-blowing, applications that can seamlessly run all kinds of different AI models on chain for different kind of usages. For example, users can directly like interact with blockchain with simple natural language. Like they can directly talk to blockchain with like in German, maybe in English, in any kind of language that they want. And the blockchain, and there's going to be a model in between that can translate what they're saying in natural language, and convert them into like machine understandable code, for example, like transactions, smart contract behavior and all that. So, but all that would boil down to the fundamental part, which is how do you ensure that this model, LLM model, large model, medium-sized model, small models, they're all running with verifiability. So this is the thing that we're developing and try to solve.
All right. No doubt that partnerships and integrations always strengthen both projects. And certainly this is the case with you guys and Peak. And I'm interested if you can maybe share with our audience and explain the benefits and enhancements brought about by Aizel's integration with Peak, and also maybe point out some of the strengths that both projects have now received.
Definitely. So Peak is definitely one of our strongest ecosystem partners, and I personally do admire what Peak has been building up in the space, which is the home of DPM, right? The home of all the machine economy, and they're definitely doing really well in technology and also the go market and all that. So the reason why that we kind of have this partnership, in that partnership with Peak, actually originated from like a very simple question, which is, right now there are a lot of, DePIN projects, right? Ecosystems, DePIN machine economies, running smart contracts. But the thing is that if you really look into the tech stack, you're going to see that nearly like say at least 90% of those projects, DePIN projects, are somehow using AI in the backend. So they're either using AI, for example, using AI to determine to do like say data verification. So they're somehow, let's say, using AI to determine like the data coming into the platform, into the DePIN network is valid or not, right? The data is like the key thing in all the DePIN projects. They're determining which node get more tokens, get more incentivized, and how the network is actually running. So they're using AI to do that, and also they're using AI to do like device verification. They're ensuring like this specific node is actually using the device, the hardware that this network wants it to use. Like they can use AI or maybe some sort of algorithm to assure that. And also there's some, for example, like some other perspective, for example, using AI in the backend to do incentivization. So which node, like node A or node B, get more tokens or less tokens, right? And this whole thing is pretty much based on a certain level of algorithm. So for every individual DePIN projects, they're somehow using AI or maybe machine learning algorithm in the backend. But the problem about that is it's still the same as all on-chain AI applications, which is the AI that they're using is all black box. Like you have no idea whether that AI is doing exactly they're told to do so. And this is like really sarcastic, very ironic, because DPN, I mean, if you break down the word of DPN, is decentralized physical infrastructure network. And the D part, the DE part, is the key of DPN, right? And the reason why that we have a blockchain system to govern a whole bunch of devices and also equipment machines is because blockchain can ensure fair and transparent value distribution. It can ensure that the nodes in this network can get their incentives, fairly and equally, right? And also all the data coming into this platform can be pretty much well managed by the blockchain, this fully transparent ecosystem. But the ironic part is that even if you have a blockchain governing this bunch of devices, but the key part to determine which nodes get more and which data is value or not is still running in the backend with black box AI. And this is like the country. This is the key part, but somehow it's still running like, non-verifiably. Like you have no idea whether the AI is doing good things, valid things or not. And sometimes for those projects and also for the nodes in the network, they have to somehow rely on the team, on the official team, that they trust the team that they're doing the right thing, right? I mean, this is like some sort of problem that we've seen this, and you have to make it happen. So what we're doing now with Peak is that we try to bring verifiable intelligence for all the machine economies, which is actually, from our perspective, is the last missing piece for DeepIn infrastructure. Verifiable intelligence. So we provide all the AI for the inference, their execution to be all verifiable and also private as well, so that all the DPINs are now really DPINs. They're really decentralized pin. And this is what we're doing up with them. And apparently, we've been talking to Leo, Till, Martin. They're all really like the core members of Peak. They're also really feeling really excited about this whole thing. And apparently, DeepIn space definitely needs this. And yeah.
All right. So my next question with you about, of course, how does Aizel Network differentiate itself from the other players in the AI industry? And maybe you guys also have some competitors, or you don't?
Yeah, this is apparently a really good question. So I think right now, still in general, besides talking about your competition and maybe some projects working on similar tech, I think in general speaking, verifiable AI, maybe on-chain AI, is still very early stage, right? So right now, the players, the space is still being building, infrastructure and applications that definitely going to come later when the infrastructure is getting more mature. But even so, like given the space is still like pretty early stage. But we do see that there are different projects working on different technical solutions. So for verifiable AI, right now there are actually mainly three kinds of technologies that can achieve this goal, like verifiable AI. The first one is ZKML, right? Zero knowledge machine learning. Pretty much those projects are using ZK prover or ZK technology to convert a certain the inference of a sort of model into a circuit so that everybody else can verify that. And there's a second one is called OPML, optimistic machine learning, using like a similar layer 2 optimistic rollup method for proving AI. And also there's going to be a third kind of technology, which is a combination of MPC and TEE, trusted executable environment. So right now, actually Aizel is kind of more focused towards like MPC and TE because it provides the most scalable and fastest way to testing AI, to prove AI basically. But right now, I think as we mentioned, we're not trying to like deliver the technical jargons and the schema, the proving schema to the end users, because users don't care. Like, right, smart contract users, they just don't care like whether you're using ZKOP or maybe some other methods. They only care about the speed and the cost, and that's it. And so I think from our perspective, I think the thing that we try to differentiate from the market is that we're not specifically developing one specific certain proving backend. We're not only developing a prover, but we're trying to be the holistic end-to-end solution where users, as long as users and smart contracts want verifiable AI abilities, they directly get access to Aizel in just very, very natural and also simple way. So we provide the end-to-end solution for them by receiving their input, compute the results with verifiability in the quickest way, and we get the results back to them as quickly as possible. So we're doing an end-to-end solution, and we're doing a multi-prover system as well. So we're not only limited to like MPC and TE, we're actually using a hybrid of different approaches, take their advantages and combine them into like a more seamless experience for the users. So right now, I think the differentiation actually is that we're not trying to directly compete with other projects by simply doing one kind of proving schema, but we're trying to incorporate all these technologies together and provide to the end users with the most scalable way. And this is something that we are think this is actually the biggest, this is actually of the biggest interest of users, right? Because that's the only thing that they care about. So we try to think from like the first principle perspective that in order to try to achieve that goal, this is how we should design this project in this way. So still, like the vision that we are doing is that as long as there's a scenario, a place that needs the AI to be verifiable, whether it's in Web3 or in Web2. I mean, in Web2, there are also a ton of scenarios that want your AI to be verifiable, right? So in both cases, either cases, we try to be there. Aizel is trying to be there and provide this technology to those people who need that. So this is what we're doing. We try to make sure that AI is verifiable in the quickest and also fastest way. And besides that, any project that is working on, AI blockchain, for example, letting AI to actually run like inference on chain, and maybe some other projects are doing AI, training, et cetera, we can directly plug them in. Like we're doing like a super modular way. And as long as there's in their infrastructure, they need AI to be somehow verifiable, we can directly plug in our ability for their usage. So we're doing it in really, inclusive and also really, comprehensive technology that can include as many players, as many heterogeneous resources as much as we can. So this is the philosophy for us to design that. Instead of like build our defensibility by having a new kind of tech. I think this is not only what we're building on. Yeah.
All right. So definitely the keywords of the year are verifiable, trustless, zero layer, and I think interoperability, right? So this is
Exactly.
the keywords of the year 2024. So can you maybe walk us through how the decentralized physical infrastructure network you are building makes AI computations trustless and verifiable?
Yeah, that's right. So I think in terms of the technology that we're building up here, there are actually different layers. This, you can pretty much think of us as like a architecture that is combining, different layers in this project. So the proving schema that is combining, OP, APC and TEE, those kind of proving schema is actually only on the the proving system that we're building up, and it's only one layers of the whole infrastructure. So based on that, we actually have our own, storage layer. So there's going to be the whole network. How ISO looks like, it's actually not a blockchain. So we're actually not like a single threaded blockchain that has one block attached to another block, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not building a blockchain. We're actually building a graph-like architecture based on, DHT, distributed hash table in IPFS system, and also a combination of Merkle deck. So what ISO looks like is going to be a graph-like system. So we don't have a consensus. We don't actually have a, block, this kind of block, idea in the network, so that this network can progress forward in the really quickest and also the fastest way. So as long as there's new, information of, say, inference, results, attestation, the proofs and all that, once they happen, they can be directly plugged into ISO in the quickest way. In the quickest way. So this is the basic storage layer, and also we do have the inference layer, which is going to be more looking like a deepin layer, so that anyone with the computing power, they can pretty much join into ISO and become the inference nodes and pretty much compute for the end users, whoever needs inference results. So it's definitely going to be deepin layer in between. And also based on that is the attestation system, the proving schema, and also the top layer is going to be relaying layer. There's going to be nodes responsible for transacting those blockchain transactions onto different blockchains. Ethereum layer 1, layer 2. Peak as well and all that. So what ultimately what ISO looks like, just put it in a really simple term, is just like how Celestia is connected to all the blockchains, maybe how Falcon is connected to all the blockchains. So we're ourselves is an infrastructure network, architecture that outputs verifiable inference and also execution abilities for anyone on any blockchain, as long as they need that. So we're super modular to give out our abilities attached to all the ecosystem, all the blockchains, and we are connected with them. So as long as there's a smart contract of ISO running on that blockchain, and we're just good to go. So we try to make the integration of every single blockchain there to be super easy and super intuitive, and so that the connection between those ecosystem into ISO is just very straightforward. And this is like how we output that abilities for all the smart contracts and users. So fundamentally, we're building up like a super modular and composable architecture that outputs verifiable AI abilities. So this is what we're doing. Yeah.
All right. So also, I'm interested about what are the potential real world application of Aizel's technologies that can be seen in various industries.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that the way that we think about verifiable AI can be pretty much divided into three parts, or maybe three categories where people can actually get to use it. So the first category is definitely on-chain economy, right? So there's smart contract or blockchain users on each of the ecosystem right now, and as we mentioned that the biggest problem that they have seen, including us, is that Web3 lacks intelligence. So as long as there's a scenario on chain that requires somehow AI abilities to like work in the backend, for example, natural language, right? So users, blockchain users can simply just talk to the blockchain, and apparently this process needs that model to run in between to make it verifiable. And we need to make it verifiable, and also there are a bunch of AI agents running on chain, right? So for all those AI agents on chain, their execution, also their inference should be also provided with full trustlessness and also verifiability. And I think this is the on-chain part. This is like where most of our imagination will like blow up, especially when the more we talk about it, the more that we have talked to every ecosystem out there, the more we realize this is like a super promising market that there's definitely going to be at least like a few killer applications that just boom, just land into the space and smash a lot of people's time, and people just get crazy about that product. And this is something that we try to envision, because the reason why that we have not seen this happening is because the infrastructure is still very early stage, right? You cannot use that big models, that large models on chain, right? Because of the limitation of the proving schema. Usually ZKML is like maybe too slow to run, AI inference, machine learning inference, and so if the model that you can use on chain verifiably is like large models, is more complex models, the imagination, the potential use cases can be much like broader, right, compared to the situation that we are right now. So on-chain is definitely going to be part of this. It's going to be DeFi, there's going to be social fi, it's going to be gaming that require all AI running in the backend, and we can make it to be verifiable. So this is like the really interesting thing that we're seeing to happen. And the second scenario, second category is actually on like somehow called Web 2.5 area, which is also like the thing that we're bringing up with Peak, which is in the real world, real world assets and also machine economy, that we let a blockchain to govern a whole bunch of real world like assets and also machines. In that kind of area, as we mentioned, there's a very urgent demand for verifiable inference, and this is also the thing that we're providing to them. For example, I think a more intuitive example for the end users is that let's say you're running a node, or maybe providing out your device, or maybe a computer for a specific DP projects, and you're earning rewards from that projects. And right now, because you have the project is having verifiable intelligence in the backend, all you get from all the tokens that you get from that specific deepin projects are verifiable. Like you exactly know how you get it, how you actually get the rewards from the projects, and also you will exactly know the data that is flowing into your device to this network is valid or not. Like you get the full sense, the full picture of how you contribute to this network, and this is like entirely getting deepin projects out of the black box, which is what has been in the past. And this is second category. And also the third category is definitely like more Web2 scenario. So let's say right now, probably you're paying for a kind of AI in your daily life to use, right? I'm not going to mention some of the models there, but definitely a lot of the audience here probably have this kind of experience. So how do you actually know that you're exactly paying for the model that you're paying for, right? Let's say I'm paying for like I'm paying for GPT-4, right? I'm paying for GPT-4, and how do you actually know that it's not someone in the back end that is a painter, like that paints the picture for me, right? Instead of like the model generating for me. So you have no idea whether you are exactly paying for the thing that you are paying for. This is where the integrity and verifiability is so essential in Web 2 as well. And let's say there are use cases that AI models are using your private data, your healthcare data, to do some prediction, maybe do some diagnosis for your disease or something. Like, how do you actually know that they're not leaking your information? How do you actually know that the model is running correctly to make that prediction and make that results to you? So this whole trust issue can go on and on. So I think we can't really say that which market is bigger, but I think both these three segments, first of all, on-chain economy that covers all smart contract, all the blockchain users in every ecosystem out there. I mean, there right now we can pretty much name like a whole bunch of AI applications in a lot of the ecosystem. We definitely know them as well. So for those projects, there's definitely a huge potential to convert at least half of them to become verifiable AI projects on chain, right? So this is like a huge transition that we can see from being non-verifiable to verifiable. And the second category is Web 2.5 machine economy. At this current time, there's also like none of them are using verifiable intelligence in the backend, and we're making that missing piece for this DeepIn infrastructure. And also the third one is apparently, our real life, Web 2 live, where we somehow also require AI to be used to be running in, full trustlessness and verifiability. So I think both three scenarios are like super interesting, and we can definitely have a lot of discussion on this three both. Yeah.
Oh man, I love having you. You're like a fountain of information, my friend. So
Thanks so much. I hope that makes sense.
I also now need to ask you about multi-party computations, and how do these multi-party computation and trusted execution environments enhance the security of Aizel's AI computations?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a really, really good question. And this is like somehow, I mean, probably a little bit more technical, but I try to explain that in the pure text and the very, very straightforward way. So I think because like even though we're building up the multi-proving system that we can incorporate different proving schema to like coexist in Aizel, but right now we're currently featuring a combination of MPC and TEE specifically. And I think TEE or TPM, Trusted Executable Environment, is like a physical chip that you can find in a lot of the smart devices, computation devices. For example, in your smartphone, right, iPhone, they're using TEE in the backend to detect to do facial scanning, Face ID, and also your laptops and I mean basically every single smart devices or maybe edge devices, like running in your daily life, they're all having TPM in their environment. And the purpose of TPM or the creation of TPM is to ensure a certain level of integrity and verifiability of a computation process. So I mean, it's born to ensure verifiability and somehow trustness in certain extent. And right now, what we are building up is that we try to let TPM to be able to run AI inference. The reason why they were doing that is because having TPM or TE to handle AI execution, handle AI inference has a much lower overhead. So the cost around TPM of running AI is much lower, much lower than some other existing technologies. So this is the reason why that we're right now exploring and we're also playing around TPM. And so TPM is going to be the basic element for computing AI, and it can basically guarantee the verifiability of the computation process. And the reason why that we're having an MPC protocol on top of that is pretty much to ensure the decentralization of the inference generation process. So I think because TPM it's still like a hardware-based solution for verifiability. So somehow it still have a something called trust setup, maybe a trust assumption on the device, that the users will have to believe that their hardware, that these TPMs would not be tampered, would not be like stolen, maybe from Microsoft, from maybe some other folks just on the street. Like you have to make sure, you have to trust that this machine is not doing malicious stuff. But even tampering a TPM, like doing malicious thing on the TPM is like really, really hard. Like you have to do it manually. You have to steal the TPM out of the warehouse and you have to put it under a microscope, and you have to scrape it manually. Like it's like super hard. But there's still a chance that TPM could be tampered. So the reason why that we have the MPC protocol on top of that is to ensure there can be multiple different kinds of TPM that can run the same inference, so that we can ensure that even if there's one TPM or maybe one node that has a single point failure issue that just goes offline, for example, or the TPM just being stolen or something, we can still ensure that this inference that the users want can be delivered to the users correctly and with verifiability. So we try to let create the robustness and also redundancy by having the MPC protocol to like run this process. But yeah, this is the combination that we're working on. And also apparently, for ZK, for OP, they definitely have their own, advantages that we also try to incorporate into our, proving schema. But right now, I think TPM MPC is like makes like a pretty perfect, combination for verifiable AI.
All right. So could you also share some success stories or case studies of those that have implemented Aizel technology?
So right now, we do have some pretty solid design partners and also ecosystem, for example, like Peak. We're definitely do some integrations there. But right now, Aizel is still kind of in stealth mode. We're still developing, the platform. And we try to increase, we try to like, reduce the overhead, even though the overhead and the cost for running AI inference on Aizel is like pretty low right already. But we still try to accelerate the process to make it even lower and make it ready for the public to use. So I think right now what we can tell is that there are definitely some really interesting use cases that we are building up, including letting users to interact with blockchain with natural language and also letting DeFi protocols to run safely by having letting DeFi protocols to run by having a safe secure AI running in the backend to adjust the loan rate, the interest rate, and also the rebalancing strategy and all that. So this is also very interesting, and also for AI agents, right? So any AI agents running on chain, they have to ensure their integrity and also verifiability has to be ensured so that the AI agent is consistent with the blockchain. So it's not going to do anything malicious on chain, and also we have to make sure that AI agents cannot just fuck up the whole blockchain with just one transactions. And this is something that we're working on. And still, as we mentioned, that Aizel is trying to penetrate into every single corner, every single possible place that require AI to be verifiable. So the imagination there is definitely really wide, and we're definitely fostering that to happen. Yeah.
All right. So how does Aizel plan to address concerns surrounding the energy consumption? Because that's something that we need to also touch based upon, and also interested about the environmental impact of AI computations.
Yeah, definitely. So I think this is also apparently a really good point as well. So I think in the past there are definitely some really good projects using TEE in Web3, right? Using TPM in Web3, and usually they're using TPM or TEE for generic computation, verifiable generic computation. So let's say there are some projects that are really successful these days. They were using TEE to verify like your credential data, personal credential data, privacy data, on-chain transactions, using TEE to prove that, or maybe just using using TEE as a sort of like a roll-up solution to roll up the transaction onto blockchain and all that. So usually the way that these projects are using TEE, they're somehow lightweighted. They're not that complex. I'm not saying that their solution is not complex, but compared to AI inference or maybe AI execution, generic computation it's actually easier or maybe more lightweighted. But right now, because we're facing for the era of AI, right? So AI is like as we mentioned, it's like a fierce monster that has a lot of undiscovered power, and the complexity for computation is definitely higher than a lot of the scenario that we have been facing in the past, especially on on blockchain. So having so TEE right now makes a perfect sense to use TEE for AI inference, because a lot of the other technologies are just not ready for AI, especially cryptography technologies. And so this is we actually don't see. Let's say we actually don't think there's one single technology that will be the end game for AI or for verifiable AI. We've seen a lot of funds, a lot of friends talking about in the past year, especially saying that ZK is the end game for verifiable AI, and they're also saying that OP probably is the end game for verifiable AI. We're not holding a point there, but what we're trying to envision is that because ultimately users don't care, right? Smart contracts don't
exactly.
DKOP, they don't get it. They don't give a shit. They know nothing about this technology, and still they are using that. So I think what we're standing, the standpoint that we have is that we try to let any technology that can work and to make it happen. And so that the way that we envision, technically speaking, we're envisioning a multi-prover system, a multi-prover future where users can have the choice to decide what kind of schema, what kind of routine that they want to follow, that they want to create, etc. It's all up to them. But we try to provide the most seamless experience to them, and this is the goal that we're working on. So I think regardless of TE, MPC, or maybe like ZKOP, or maybe other technologies, some other new terms proposed by some other teams, that doesn't really matter, especially stemming from the end user's part. As long as the technology works, and that's it, that's good to go. So I think right now, technically speaking, TE, you should have like a trust setup, but tempering like a TE, as we mentioned, that is like super hard. It's really hard there. But what if there's like a better technology that can simply just eliminate all the trust assumptions, and still provide verifiable intelligence for the end users in the quickest way? If there's a technology, we'll definitely use that. We'll definitely follow that schema. But right now, T probably seems the most viable way. And we actually don't think like T or MPC is going to be the end game as well. We don't see that's going to happen. But right now, our first principle thinking is that we get the technologies to the users as much as we can, as quick as we can. So this is how we sort of pick MPC and T as our current feature for the proving schema. But in the future, we're not sure. In the future, any technology that can work, we just do that.
All right, so it's high time to ask you the question about future, since you mentioned that you're not sure. But one thing definitely is your future plans and roadmap. So as my final question to you would be if you can share some of the future plans and roadmap that you guys have for Aizel Network.
Definitely. So we're building up really exciting stuff. We've been researching, benchmarking, engineering, our proving schema, and also the entire technology. The infrastructure since last year. So we've been doing this for quite a long time. And also the team is coming from a hybrid background, cross background from specializing in AI development and also in cryptography, distributed system, MPCTE, this kind of background. So we're pretty much like a hybrid team from different technical backgrounds. And I think the thing that we try to deliver here is contributing to the fundamental value of the entire space, especially when you, as we mentioned, that when you consider about how low that the intelligence level is on chain, and how much of the intelligence, even though it's like really little, but the intelligence that is happening on chain is like super not really inclusive to what the resources in the existing technology. We're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, but right now the things that can be done on chain is like super low, not clever. So I think what we're doing up here is that we try to deliver the products as mature as possible and get to the users as quickly as possible. So there's going to be both a vertical and also horizontal way that we try to make sure that the products deliver correctly. So specifically from timeline, the way that we're doing here is that we're probably going to have a testnet running in around mid this year, and where our design partners and also the ecosystem and the users can actually get to use that, and basically the entire end-to-end workflow can work pretty well, work pretty great. And also by the end of this year, we're probably going to have our mainnet launch, and at that time it's going to be a more full version of the whole network, where the users can get used that from both the supply and demand side. There's going to be point system, there's going to be token reward, airdrop, and all the things coming in as this kind of infrastructure that we're building up. So because I think given our specialized technical background in the past, still we're going to have like a full version of the go-to-market strategy that is coming in the future, and also starting from our day one. So this is like our main focus. We're treating us as like a product team that deliver the best thing to the end users, instead of like demonstrating the technologies things that we're showing up to them. Yeah, hope it makes sense.
All right. So Jeremy, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for our audience for sticking around. This has been very informative. If you want to give any shout outs to any of the team members, you're more than welcome to do it, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely. So we have like a really solid team background, and we right now have like a team of 10 people right now. And I'm personally based in Hong Kong, and the rest of the team pretty much based in Hong Kong, Singapore, somewhere else in the world as well. And we have 4 co-founders. So I'm Jeremy, and also together with Gwen, is my former colleague in venture capital, and also our 2 technical co-founders, Vincent and YL. They're coming from really top tier, crypto companies that everybody knows, and so pretty much have a hybrid, background from technical and also the venture arm as well. So we know how to build the best product, the best infrastructure to the space. So yeah, I think more detail about the team and also our background will definitely be released along with our testnet so that people can actually get to know us in a more formal way. But yeah, here I am, and hope that the audience here can get a sense of what Aizel has been building and why this is so important. For the space to have like a verifiable, AI infrastructure to get out, and yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Jeremy, for your time and our audience for joining us. We will be back next week with more stuff. Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.